Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day. Don't forget, grab your smartphone and download the Lava Matra app and stay in touch. Guru Mahārāja's message is your advantage. The following is a Caitanya Leela compilation given by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Mahārāja on January 3rd, 2022 in Sridham, Mayapur, India.
Yati Svatamahan Mande Sri Gurum Dinatharinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Caitanya Mishwaram Hare Om Tat Sat.
Hare Krishna, my dear devotees. Today we're reading from the Sri Kṛṣṇa Caitanya Compilation class, and today's chapter is entitled as If One Becomes a Madman like Lord Caitanya, he may also understand the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Under the section, the 61 explanations of the Atma Rama verse. Caitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 24, text 307.
সর্বশেষে আর এক প্রকার অর্থ আত্মা শব্দে ক্ষেত্রজ্ঞ শক্তি আত্মা শব্দে কহে ক্ষেত্রজ্ঞ জীবলক্ষণ ব্রহ্মাদি কীট পর্যন্ত তার শক্তিতে গণন.
The word Atma also refers to the living entity who knows about his body. That is another symptom. From Lord Brahma down to the insignificant ant, everyone is counted as the marginal potency of the Lord.
We're all part of Lord Kṛṣṇa.
We are all part of Lord Kṛṣṇa.
Consider marginal potency.
Consider the marginal potency.
In the material world, we are unmanifested.
In the material world, we are unmanifested.
A small particle, 1/10,000th a tip of a hair in dimension.
Small particle, 1/10,000th the tip of a hair in dimension.
In the spiritual world, we manifest our spiritual form.
In the spiritual world, we manifest our spiritual form,
which is just suited to our relationship with Kṛṣṇa.
Which is
just suited
with our relationship with Kṛṣṇa. Caitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 24, text 308.
विष्णु शक्ति परा प्रोक्ता क्षेत्रज्ञात्या तथा परा अविद्या कर्म संज्ञान्या तृतीया शक्तिरिष्यते.
The potency of Lord Vishnu is summarized in three categories, namely the spiritual potency, the living entities, and ignorance. The spiritual potency is full of knowledge. The living entities, although belonging to the spiritual potency, are subject to bewilderment. And the third energy, which is full of ignorance, is always visible in fruitive activities. Purport. This is a quotation from the Vishnu Purana. For an explanation, see Adi Leela 7.119.
So three broad potencies are mentioned.
So three broad potencies are mentioned.
They have unlimited sub-headings.
They have unlimited
headings. There's a spiritual potency which never falls down.
There's a spiritual potency which never falls down.
Marginal potency which is subject to material bewilderment.
The marginal potency which associates subjects to fall down, to bewilderment.
We are the marginal potency.
We are the marginal potency.
Although we're superior because we're very minute, we're subject to be bewildered.
Although we are superior because we are very minute, we are subject to be bewildered.
And the third potency is the illusory energy.
And the third potency is the illusionary energy,
which is the inert material energy.
Which is the inert material energy. Caitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 24, text 309.
क्षेत्रज्ञ आत्मा पुरुष प्रधानं प्रकृतिस्त्रियाम्.
The word Kshetrajna refers to the living entity, the enjoyer, the chief, and the material nature. Purport. This is a quotation from the Swarga Varga 7 of the Amara Kosha Dictionary. Caitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 24, text 310. The living entities are wandering in different species of life on different planets. But if by chance they get the association of a pure devotee, sadhu, they give up all other engagements and engage in the service of the Lord.
This shows how important the association of a pure devotee is.
This shows how important the association of a pure devotee is.
Consciousness can be really changed by even a short association with a devotee.
One's consciousness can completely change by a short association with a pure devotee. Caitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 24, text 311. I have thus explained 60 different meanings, and all of them aim at the service of Lord Kṛṣṇa. After giving so many examples, that is the only meaning.
So Lord Caitanya and all his examples, the leading one to the devotional service of Lord Kṛṣṇa.
So Lord Caitanya and all his examples is but leading to devotional service to Lord Kṛṣṇa. Caitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 24, text 312. Now, due to your association, another meaning has awakened. It is due to your devotional service that these waves of meanings are arising. Purport. The word Atma refers to the living entity. From Lord Brahma down to an insignificant ant, everyone is considered a living entity. Living entities are considered part of the Lord's marginal potency. All of them are Kshetrajna, knowers of the body. When they become nirgrantha, or free, saintly persons, they engage in Lord Kṛṣṇa's service. That is the 61st meaning of the verse.
So when a person becomes free, a saintly person,
So when a person becomes free, a saintly person,
they engage in Lord Krishna's devotional service.
they engage in Lord Krishna's devotional service.
So, in this way, Lord Caitanya, he found 61 meanings.
So in this way, Lord Caitanya, he found 61 meanings.
They give the credit to Sanatana Goswami by his association with a wave of meanings.
So he is giving the credit to Sanatana Goswami by his association. There is a wave of meanings.
And that's why he found 61 meanings of the Atma verse.
And in this way, he found 61 meanings of the Atma Rama verse. Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 24, text 313.
Aham vedmi sukho veti, vyaso veti na veti va, bhaktya bhagavatam grahyam, na buddhya na chatikhaya.
Lord Shiva said, I may know Sukadev Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, may know, and Vyasadeva may know or may not know Srimad Bhagavatam. On the whole, Srimad Bhagavatam, the spotless Purana, can be learned only through devotional service, not by material intelligence, speculative methods, or imaginary commentaries. Purport. Devotional service includes 9 processes, beginning with hearing, chanting, and remembering the activities of Lord Vishnu. Only one who has taken to devotional service can understand Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the spotless Puran for a transcendentalist or a Mahamsa. So-called commentaries are useless for this purpose. According to the Vedic injunction, Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha guru, all Vedic literature maintain that Srimad Bhagavatam has to be learned from the person Bhagavata, and to understand it, one has to engage in pure devotional service. Srimad Bhagavatam cannot be understood by so-called erudite scholars or grammarians. One who has developed pure Krishna consciousness and has served the pure devotee, the spiritual master, can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Others cannot.
Srimad Bhagavatam is manifest only to those who are engaged in pure devotional service.
Srimad Bhagavatam is manifest only to those who are engaged in pure devotional service.
That's the spiritual nature of the Srimad Bhagavatam.
That is the spiritual nature of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 24, text 314. After hearing all the explanation of all the different meanings of the Atmarama verse, Sanatana Goswami was struck with wonder. He fell down at the lotus feet of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and began to offer prayers.
Sanatana Goswami had heard Lord Caitanya had explained the Atmarama verse in 18 different ways. Sarvabhaumacharya.
Sanatana Goswami had heard Lord Caitanya had explained the Atmarama verse in 18 ways to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya.
So he asked Lord Caitanya if he could hear those.
So he asked Lord Caitanya if he could hear those.
Lord Caitanya said, well, you're listening. I can't remember what I said, but what comes to my mind, I'll speak it.
So he said, well, you're listening. I can't remember what I said, but I'll try to remember it.
I'll speak whatever comes to my mind.
I'll speak whatever comes to my mind.
And so he has 61 different meanings.
So he gave 61 different meanings.
And that struck Goswami with wonder.
So that struck Sanatana Goswami with wonder.
Impossible to come up with so many meanings in one verse.
Normally it's impossible to come up with so many meanings on one verse.
So, grab the lotus feet of Lord Caitanya and offer prayers.
So he grabbed the lotus feet of Lord Caitanya and offered prayers. Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 24, text 315.
এই শ্লোকে প্রভু বিশ্বাস ত্যাগের সঙ্গে ভগবত কথা তোমার নিঃশ্বাসে সর্ববেদ অবর্তন.
Sanatana Goswami said, "My dear Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kṛṣṇa, the son of Mahārāja Nanda. All the Vedic literatures are vibrated through your breathing."
Sanatana Goswami was realizing Lord Caitanya was the incarnation of Lord Kṛṣṇa.
So Sanatana Goswami was realizing that Lord Caitanya was the incarnation of Lord Kṛṣṇa. Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 24, text 316.
শেষ আদি বিষ্ণুরূপে প্রভুর ভগবত ব্যাখ্যা ও অভিজ্ঞতা. তুমি ভক্তা ভাগবতের তুমি জানো তোমা বিনা অন্য জাতিতে নাহিত সমর্থ.
My dear Lord, you are the original speaker of the Bhagavatam. You therefore know its real import. But for you, no one can understand the confidential meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Purport. Following this statement by Srila Sanatana Goswami, we have written our introduction to Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, pages 1 to 41.
Lord Caitanya knew confidential meanings of the Srimad Bhagavatam.
So Lord Caitanya knew the confidential meanings of Srimad Bhagavatam
Because he is the original speaker.
because he is the original speaker.
Srila Prabhupada, he gave the Bhagavatam
So Srila Prabhupada, he gave the Srimad Bhagavatam,
and he said that Kṛṣṇa was speaking through him.
and he said that Kṛṣṇa was speaking through him.
Just instrument in the hands of Kṛṣṇa.
He was just an instrument in the hands of Kṛṣṇa. Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 24, text 317.
প্রভু কর্তৃক ভগবত মহাত্ম প্রত্যয়. প্রভু কহে কেন করো আমার স্মরণ, ভগবতের স্বরূপ জেনে না করো বিচারণ.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "Why are you glorifying me personally? You should understand the transcendental position of Srimad Bhagavatam. Why don't you consider this important point?"
Lord Caitanya is glorifying the Srimad Bhagavatam, a literary incarnation of the Lord.
Lord Chaitanya is glorifying the Srimad Bhagavatam, the literary incarnation of the Lord. Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 24, text 318.
কৃষ্ণতুল্য ভাগবত বিদু সর্বাশ্রয়, প্রতি শ্লোকে প্রতি অক্ষরে নানা কথা অর্থ কয়.
Srimad Bhagavatam is as great as Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Lord and shelter of everything. In each and every verse of Srimad Bhagavatam and in each and every syllable, there are various meanings.
So Prabhupada had said that if someone reads even a word or two of the Bhagavatam, they get the spiritual lesson.
Srila Prabhupada said that if someone even reads a word or two of Srimad Bhagavatam, they get spiritual blessings. Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 24, text 319.
পূর্বে শ্রী পরীক্ষিত ও সুখদেবের এবং তৎপর সৈন্যকারী ও শ্রী সুতের প্রশ্নোত্তরে শ্রী ভাগবত কথা। প্রশ্নোত্তরে ভাগবতে করিয়াছে নির্ধার, যাহার শ্রবণে লোকে লাগে চমৎকার।
The form of Srimad Bhagavatam is given in questions and answers. Thus, the conclusion is established. By hearing these questions and answers, one is highly astonished.
Questions in the Srimad Bhagavatam are about spiritual truth.
The questions in Srimad Bhagavatam are about spiritual truth.
The answers also spiritually enlivening.
And the answers are also spiritually enlivening. Caitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 24, text 320.
কৃষ্ণের অপ্রকটে এই ভাগবতেই গ্রন্থ শ্রীমদ্ ভাগবত প্রথম স্কন্ধের প্রথম অধ্যায় প্রশ্ন।
ब्रूहि योगेश्वरे कृष्णे ब्रह्मण्ये धर्मवर्मणि स्वां खाष्ठाम् अधुनोपेते धर्मखं शरणं गता.
Now that Sri Krishna, the Absolute Truth, the Master of all mystic powers, has departed for his own abode, please tell us by whom religious principles are presently protected. Purport. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.23 was a question raised by all the sages who were headed by Saunaka. This question, put before the great devotee Sutta Goswami, is the foremost of the 6 questions raised. The answer to this important question is given in the next verse, also from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.43.
So this is one of the questions, and following it is the answer.
So this is one of the questions, and the following is the answer. Caitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 24, text 321.
শ্রীমদ্ ভাগবতের প্রথম স্কন্ধের তৃতীয় অধ্যায় 43 সূত্র।
कृष्णे स्वधामोपगते धर्मज्ञानादिभिः सह खलौ नष्टदृशाम् एष पुराणार्कोऽधुनोदिता.
After Lord Krishna departed for his abode, along with religious principles and transcendental knowledge, this Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam, has arisen like the sun in this age of Kali to enlighten those who have no spiritual vision.
When Lord Krishna was present, then all auspiciousness and spiritual qualities were present.
When Krishna was present, then all auspiciousness and spiritual qualities were present.
When he left the world, I took with him the knowledge of the principles.
When he left the world and took with him knowledge and Vedic principles,
then all of the people get his shelter.
then how will the people get his shelter?
And the answer was that this Bhagavad Purana, like a sun rising, dissipate all the darkness of Kali-yuga.
So the answer was given that the Bhagavad Dharma was like the sun rising, dissipating all the darkness of this Kali Yuga. Caitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 24, text 322.
দৈতত্ব অনুসরণে শুদ্ধ চিৎ ধর্ম স্মরণে অপাকৃত কৃষ্ণ শ্রবণমত্তের পক্ষেই ভাগবত তত্ত্ব বোধে যোগ্যতা নির্দেশ। এই মতো কহিলে মুখের বাখান বাতুলের প্রভাব করিতে করে প্রমাণ।
In this way, like a madman, I have explained the meaning of just one verse. I do not know who will take this as evidence.
Lord Caitanya was in such ecstasy that he could explain one verse in 61 different ways.
Lord Caitanya, he was in such ecstasy that he could explain one verse in 61 different meanings.
So he described himself as, quote, like a madman, unquote.
So he explained himself as, quote, madman, unquote.
Like a madman.
Like a madman.
So, to understand the Srimad Bhagavatam, we also need to develop our ecstatic Krishna prema.
So to understand the Srimad Bhagavatam, we also have to develop our ecstatic Krishna prema. Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 24, text 323.
Ama heno deva keho batul hai ei dishte bhagavate rotho ganoi.
If one becomes a madman like me, he may also understand the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam by this process. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu plainly explains that Srimad Bhagavatam cannot be understood by those who are materially situated. In other words, one has to become a madman like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Apart from being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is an Acharya who exhibited love of God like a madman. According to his own written verse, Yugaitam Nimishena, he says that for him a moment seems to last 12 years. Chakshusha Pravrishayitam, the tears are flowing like torrents of rain. Sunyaitam Jagat Sarvam, I feel as if the entire universe were vacant. Why? Govinda Virahena me, due to my being separated from Govinda, Kṛṣṇa. One can understand Srimad Bhagavatam only by following in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was mad for Kṛṣṇa. We cannot, of course, imitate Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is not possible. However, unless one is very serious about understanding Kṛṣṇa, we cannot understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam gives the full narration of Krishna's transcendental activities. The first 9 cantos explain who Kṛṣṇa is, and the Lord's birth and activities are narrated in the 10th canto. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, Janma karma chame devyam, Krishna's appearance and disappearance are transcendental, not mundane. A person is eligible to return home back to Godhead if he perfectly understands Kṛṣṇa and his appearance and disappearance. This is verified by Kṛṣṇa himself in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 9, Tyakva deham punarjanma naitimam iti swarjana. It is therefore concluded that one has to learn about Kṛṣṇa from Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita, and one has to follow in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Those who do not follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cannot understand the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Thus ends
So Lord Caitanya giving us the real meaning of the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam.
So Lord Caitanya is giving us the real meaning of the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam.
We should follow the lotus footprints.
We should follow his lotus footprints.
And then all these secrets of Gita and Bhagavad will be revealed to us.
Then all the secrets of Gita and Bhagavat will be revealed to us. Thus ends the chapter entitled, If one becomes a madman like Lord Caitanya, he may also understand the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Under the section, the 61 explanations of the Atmarama verse.
Do you like our ad-free videos? Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day, and don't forget to like and share our channel.